Bitcoin seems to be making the biggest bullish divergence happening right now, so do anticipate pullbacks in the crypto market. But welcome everybody to Crypto Angles podcast number 44. My name is Kelita, Sahliah. I'm a mother, a real angel, and of course I dabble in crypto. So over here we use astrology of the sky in combination with the crypto market. It's not mainstream tropical astrology, so some placements will be different. If you are new, astrology plays a big role in the crypto market. Why? Because we are light fractalized and densified into matter, and this impacts our actions and how we move in the crypto market. So this is why we check that out. And as I said, this is Crypto Angles podcast number 44. So 4 and 4 is 8. I feel crypto's entering into a new toroidal field on the energies, getting ready to attract. So we usually look at the astrological story that's happening this cycle, and then the technical analysis for Bitcoin, XRP, and the DXY. So sometimes we use GEMATRIA and look at some connections on the world stage, but I'm not feeling it this video, so we're just taking a look at the astrological story, and then we'll get into the technical analysis. So I'm using my own calendar, by the way, and there is the new one as this one finishes in March. We've got 1 month left, people, and there is a new one which we will be following the crypto market throughout 2024, so do grab that. It is available on Etsy right now. The old one still perfect to backdate, backtest. You can get it super cheap, and then we've got the new one right here. So let's get into the astrological story of this cycle anyway. I'll be honest, there's not much happening. We've just got Fortune as well as Lilith making some transits, but I don't see them as important. So what I'm going to focus mainly on is this full moon energy. So we are on the 25th right now, so we are in the heart of this full moon energy, and usually the full moon energy window lasts 5 days before and 5 days after. So of course we're in the 5 days after, and there's a little transit time. So this full moon energy will bring us into March basically, until we get this flip of energy from the 3rd of March. And why do I find this all interesting, especially as I says this is Crypto Angles podcast number 44? It's like crypto's entering a new toroidal field with the 8 energy there, and bringing balance. So I am seeing retracements in the market happening, especially because of this full moon. Now I did mention that the Leo element in this, I'm paying attention to that as well. So those who don't know, when it's a full moon in the market, price likes to find its support zone. It likes to find its last support, and then once it's clearly found that, you can then potentially long the market, or there's entries to enter when price has found its support. And as I says, it's coming into March. The fact that it's a Leo, and Leo is fire sign, and of course the market is water, current, sea, it's all water based. The sky, astrology is water too but Leo is fire, so water and fire don't often mix like that. However, Leo is the I am that I am energy, it is the sun, so it does have power behind it, but it could initially be weak. So this is why I'm seeing there could be a potential, whether it's a spring or a possible spring, but then maybe a quicker buyback, but we'll see obviously as the days go on. So do keep that in mind. And just the other two luminaries being Lilith moving into Ophiuchus and Fortuna moving into Capricorn, it's just telling me some transformation with this Ophiuchus energy is happening, and also more Capricorn energy. If you've been following for a while, we have been in this Capricorn energy of bringing stability and foundation for your longer term goals. So again, this is kind of confirming to me the retracement happening potentially within the crypto market, because we're transforming and we're laying down stability and foundations for our long-term goals. Capricorn being an earth sign, especially because we still have Mars and Venus in Capricorn, but both of them being, now Capricorn being an earth sign is very slow in nature, being an earth sign. And excuse me, Hoover's just been turned on downstairs, so I'll talk a bit louder. Hopefully you can't hear that too much, I don't know. But being this earth sign anyway, even if the market retraces, ultimately it's about creating the stable, solid foundation which is healthy for the crypto market. Because of course, if things just go up, that's not the best sign now, is it? So do pay attention. Obviously, price is getting ready to find its new support. I feel that's the main thing to take out of this cycle. And it will go into March. And why I also find this interesting, because of course March is the official new year, really. When the sun enters Pisces, the new year starts to begin, and is more confirmed when the spring equinox happens. So we've all been saying 2024 is going to be an interesting one, but basically it's pretty much starting now, the energies of it, well, as we go into March. So what better thing for noise to happen on the world stage, even if it happens the beginning of March, when we're at the ending of this full moon energy. So keep in mind, we've got this whole period of time for price to do this. If noise happens on the world stage at the beginning of the year, quote unquote, then what better time for investors or for people to have some FUD in the market and pull out, you know, bringing the price a little bit lower at the beginning of the year. We are also in a leap year, 2024, and what happened March 2020, we were getting sprinkles of noise of such and such happening on the world stage with the Ovid axine. So it's like, could something happen 4 years later at the beginning of the actual year, March, to cause a little uncertainty in the market? Sure, we'll see. We'll see. And what full moon do we have in March? Interesting. We'll see how it goes, if we'll go lower in March or if February will be our lows. So let's take a look anyway at the technical analysis for all of this stuff. And as I says, do make sure you grab the calendar so you're following along. Where's TradingView? So getting back to Bitcoin, BTC, right, the one thing I wanted to bring your main awareness to, let's just bring the RSI up. As I mentioned, there was, why isn't it not doing it? I don't want the MACD higher. Oh, go up. Yeah, there we go. Still getting used to this trading view. So let's just unhide the drawings. So as you can see here, we are on the daily, and we're getting this massive bullish divergence right here, and I drew this in my last video. So as you can see, the RSI is oversold, overbought right here. It's overbought. Even in this zone it was overbought, and that's super, we're getting like a super long bullish divergence here, pretty much. Yeah, let's extend this line. To just touch these points, because this is even more interesting. So it is going, we had our highs here. So this is back in January 2023. This is a massive bullish divergence, people, and I've just noticed this. But as you can see, price here is much lower than where price is here. However, the RSI is much higher in volume. So, and we're getting this point here where it was overbought as well, but price was at 35k. So the first one, price is heavily overbought, and price was ranging at 23 to 24k. We then have this point where price again overbought, and price was ranging at 35. about 35k, and then we've got this point where we're overbought again. And where is price? Three times a charm. Three times a charm. So we're getting our third confirmation. Price has been hovering at that 52 region, 52k, but of course the RSI is showing lower highs. So that's the biggest sign of a bullish divergence happening right there. So another confirmation to anticipate a final correction in the market. And as you can see, just on the chart below, we also have this longer green trend line, which has gone back since 2022, where price Bitcoin just seems to be finding a nice support on it. However, it's not done it again, so this is why I do have this zone confirmation burp in mind. I do have this zone in mind when it comes to Bitcoin, and we'll put on some of the fibs as well for extra confirmation. But that's what I'm seeing there with the RSI. It's a clear bullish divergence happening in the market. It seems like we're turning slightly here on the daily. Could we potentially go up to retest the 70 before getting fully rejected? That's a possibility, of course. But looking at the MACD, before we get into it, I just want to bring you awareness that the moving averages on the MACD have crossed over. They've crossed over. So let's just move this out the way. As you can see, when they cross over, we get more of a downward momentum when the red is on top of the blue. You see, it's going down, crosses over, goes down. And then when it flips, we're getting the reverse. However, after getting a lot of volume and action happening here, we're getting ready to cross over, and we've started to dip into the red territory. And it's not the lighter red, it's the darker red. So an extra confirmation of this bullish divergence happening. So let's just take a look at some more of the other things. Just put them a little smaller, get rid of you so we have a better screen. As you can see, let's move this out. We're tapping. Why this is interesting, this zone as well, is because it is the last breakout zone that's happening right now. So this was the last breakout zone, again, where this green line has touched all the way back since November 2022. Does it go lower? Does it extend further? I wonder. Does it extend further? Let's take a look. Let's see for ourselves. How do you do this thing? Why have settings changed to look like that? Oh gosh. Style. Let's just extend that. Oh, not really. I wondered if it would touch this, but it hasn't. I wonder if something else touches this though. Are we in like some form of parallel channel? Should we try that? Parallel channel. Just from there to about here where it was trading in. It's just something to look at, I guess, because again, we traded along it quite nicely, got rejected off it there as well, and then we broke through it, dipped back into it a little bit and traded above it. So I'm seeing this zone anyway, that 42 region, as our next first level of support. If we don't hold that, then we've got a clear way down to this last breakout zone, again touching the bottom of this channel. So that's a possibility, especially if price doesn't hold this. Okay, so keep that in mind. That's what I'm seeing, because this zone just seems a little bit stronger than this one. However, we do have trading clusters on this side, which does show there is some support here. We were rejected off there, then we retested our last breakout zone before breaking through this zone. We came and broke straight through, found support off our last breakout zone, broke through it, found it as our support again, traded around it, and then it broke through, you know. So we traded on this zone, but will it be strong enough to hold? Could price just hold this and travel on the outside of this parallel channel? It's a possibility. But if we do break, especially below 39, if we break below 39, we're more than likely seeing this between 31 to 32k. That's what I'm seeing for Bitcoin personally. So let's just take a look anyway. We'll put the moon phases on, see what the moon's doing. So clearly, let's spread you out. So it's showing that the moon's resistance is here because, of course, we've passed this day. We've passed this day. So would we come back down to this level or fall below it? Will this be its official support, or will it end up going lower? That has happened at times, and again, because it is a Leo full moon, it's going to be interesting to see how it holds it, or if it will stay there. Okay, we then have the Virgo full moon coming up later, so in March. So could that be the lower one? We'll have to wait and see, of course. But let's take a look at some of these moving averages. So just look at the planetary moving averages. Okay, so Uranus, I like how they're all kind of sloping up, which is a good sign, and an even more good a sign for price to want to come back down to find its support off it properly. But Uranus still needs to cross over, so we're still waiting for that cross, because Uranus needs to be at the bottom for complete upward momentum. Confirmation burp. Let's put on our SMAs. Okay, so price looking, price right now is underneath the 8 EMA. It's super overextended, so could price come back down to at least that level? That's a possibility as well, because it is overextended on the SMAs a little, just a little. EMAs. Okay, so it has found support off the EMAs. It has found support. They've spread out a little bit. Still far. All of them are far, obviously, from the 200 EMAs, though. And I do want to check the Bollinger Bands because, okay, see, we were trading along the outside of this Bollinger Band, and then we're rejected off it slightly. So could that bring us down to at least tap into the middle, or to begin to retest the lower band? But I want to put on some fibs. Let's just get rid of these. I want to try a little fibby. So I'm pulling just from this swing low, just before the last breakout, to the swing high. Can you tell I've been learning, people? Yeah, so we've got the golden pocket here with the 786 and the 618, 0.618 and 0.716. So coming back down to trade either above the golden pocket or in it, could that be a possibility? Again, it's falling on this breakout zone. That's why, even though of course we do follow the moon has come in, could it potentially go lower than where it's signaled? Or there's a possibility price may hover here, stay there. When our new moon comes in, we're at a lower resistance, and then the end of March could bring us lower. So that's another possibility, but I am keeping in mind this golden pocket, because we didn't trade in it for too long. We had an amazing buying opportunity back in October 2023. It traded into the golden pocket, used it as its support, and then came out. It hasn't fully retested it, so again, that's coming closer to this last breakout zone of either trading above it when it comes to the fibs, or retesting within the golden pocket again for the last time. So that's a possibility for sure. Yeah, so keep that in mind when it comes to the bit of the coin. Let's just take a look. I did want to show you extra confirmation with the RSI on wider time frames. So just this bearish divergence. Let's get rid of this fib for a moment. Just the 2-day, we are getting that as well. Not so much here though with the 2-day, but we are getting it here. Price is definitely lower even on the RSI, even though it's higher there, and it just continues. Again, 3-day, 5-day, price is higher on the RSI, lower here, but you know. And then on the W time frame, we're getting it as well, quite clearly, quite nicely. Price on the RSI is higher, but it's creating a lower high. So yeah, keep that in mind. So I just want to look just at the candles now, and then we're getting to XRP. Let's come back down. Just on the 4-hour time frame. I know I've clicked the 12-hour, but let's just check the 4-hour. It seems like this little green line that it was finding its resistance at in the first place. It's like we were trading above it and then we broke below it. It seems as if we're retesting that. Let's take a look on the smaller time frame, the 4-hour. A bit more clearer. It does seem as if we're retesting this complete zone anyway at 51, or the beginning of 52, just under 52k, and underneath this little green trend line we could get that retracement and then rejection, as we're creating slightly lower highs as we go down. So it's showing a little weakness coming in there. Oh, so do keep that in mind. But ultimately, that is what I'm seeing. I feel it has just gone up. It has just gone up. And of course, our next level would be about this zone where it will tackle first its next little support. And again, if we're unable to hold that 47k region, we'll most likely come back down to this last trading cluster, back on top of this parallel channel at around that 42k. Failing to obviously hold that would bring us back into this parallel channel, and there's just not much happening here. So failing to hold this 42k, and especially 49, if we break this 42 and break this 49, we could easily be seeing a 31 to 32k Bitcoin, and I'll be happy with that, of course, but it depends how price holds this zone. Oh, something's just fallen. Bear with me. I've got it. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing for Bitcoin right now. Especially if noise is going to happen on the world stage. I haven't done any GEMATRIA connections, but we'll see. We'll see. I've got some interesting things coming up, but let's take a look at XRP in the hizzy and see what that's saying, and then the DXY, to see what the dollar could be doing. Come on, XRP. Oh, the way my leg is just hitched up right now, it's unbelievable. Okay, ow. So XRP, unlike Bitcoin, is trading within this parallel channel that has been there for a minute. It's been there for a minute. I did cover it in my last video, but let's just take a look. Let's put the line on. Is it a bit more clearer? Yeah. So we've got this parallel channel that happened, and this chart that I'm on isn't the chart with the most data, because the one with the most data goes back, was it 2013? I found one, and basically we have just a little trading, but like on its inception within this parallel channel. So I'm sure I said I was gonna find that chart, but I didn't because I forgot SARS. But it was trading literally on its inception within this parallel channel, and I find it super interesting that obviously when it was getting ready to do its bull move, it found this parallel channel as support after it traded in it. Can I find that chart? Which one was it? What am I on? Bitfex. Is it Coinbase? Was it Kraken? Did I do it on Kraken? No. No, that doesn't have it. Couldn't have been. Was it just Bitstamp? Just the one. Yes, this one. Is this one. So let's just put this parallel channel just so I can show you. Then we'll go back to the other one. Yeah, it's about here, wasn't it? This whole parallel channel. So this is just what I wanted to show you. Let's just move my bar out the way. So we had our inception, we traded sideways, and then we literally were just trading within this parallel channel. Very, very, very boring. It was very sideways, though if we zoom in, there's definitely a bit more action, but the price was super low back then, and oh my days, I wish I was involved with crypto then, but that's another story. But just kind of showing what I was trying to talk about, this is quite an important parallel channel XRP is trading in at the moment. We've kind of bottomed out on it once, didn't really do it there, but we found its bottom this one time and then this other time here. Could we potentially, for the last time, because 3 times is a charm, reach the bottom of this parallel channel, bringing us to 42 cents XRP? Because things happen in 3s more times than not, sometimes 4. So that's a possibility. But just going back to my other chart, 'cause it's got things on. No, it's not that chart. But it was here too. I was using this chart where I saw that parallel channel. I have to click it here because it's just right there. I'm getting used to the different names of them. But this one's just a little bit more clearer. So, because I've done the extra lines. So that's a possibility. And I also want to bring your awareness. Let's just go back to the daily. To this green possible triangle, and again it's like we are trading in it. We're trading in it. Could that be another one though? If we don't go to the bottom of the, where's my bar? If we don't go to the bottom of this parallel channel, is there a little something happening here? That's a possibility, because of course, oh gosh, yeah, that's a possibility, because that was our last trading zone happening there. So that's a possibility, but I do feel if we were to break this 50 cents, if we break 50 cents, then we could most likely potentially be retesting that 42 cents, and it would still be healthy. We're still creating higher lows, which is good because we've got our lows here, and then even if we tap in here, we've created in the structure this higher low. Now the way XRP likes to move, it just wouldn't surprise me, because this little triangle here, was it this triangle? Yeah, this triangle, I did anticipate a break to the upside, but of course XRP does what XRP likes to do best and goes down. So it just wouldn't surprise me if we can't hold 50 cents, we just come back down to this level. It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, not at all. But also, if we just trade within this zone, so not going lower than 50, that wouldn't surprise me neither. We could just trade up into this point, and then this leads till April, and then pew, you know, we finally break out. That's also a possibility if price can hold 50 cents. Now 50 cents is like a psychological level, so there are two possibilities right there. And of course, I'll show you the moons. So the moon is showing its support underneath the 50 cents level. So again, that could be the case, all depending on how hard Bitcoin falls. Of course, how low it goes. If Bitcoin is to, what were the levels on Bitcoin? I don't know. I feel if Bitcoin is to go to the depth out of its last breakout zone and retest that 31 to 32k ish, then we're most likely going to see a 42 cents XRP. If Bitcoin is just going to stay on the higher levels, then maybe we'll just retest this 50 zone. So do keep that in mind. Let's take a look at the MACD. When it wants to, you don't want to open up, do you, lad? You don't want to open up. Okay, so the MACD, we had a little bullish momentum with what it's done, but you can see the moving averages are beginning to cross over, or it looks like it's getting ready to cross over. We're getting the lighter green color coming in as well, so possible downward momentum with that indicator. What's going on with the RSI? Okay, so interesting, we wicked below the 50, and it looks like, as you can see, the little purple line looks like it's getting ready to turn, and we are also underneath the yellow moving average. But we're clearly not oversold or overbought anymore. Price is in more of a comfortable place. So this is why I guess even if we do get rejected down from this level a little bit more, 50 is possibly its next target, potentially. Let's get rid of the moons and let's take a look at the actual candle structure of this. So let's put the RSI back down and the MACD back down. So these candle formations. Okay, so is this a potential head and shoulder? Could that be? Would it want to come back down lower to retest this? I don't know what XRP will do. I don't know. This one's probably seeming a little bit more likely, but we just have to follow. If noise happens on the world stage, that could just give us that wick down. And as I mentioned, it's this wick here, because even if price comes and touches this 40, oh, this 45 cents, a little bit higher than 42, but 45 cents, that could be a possibility, because as price did here, it didn't fully fill this wick. Okay, same how it did here, but could price want to be doing that for the longer wick? So not fully filling it, but just coming back down a little bit more to 55. I was saying 52, but I feel it's 55. That's a possibility. So it's just not ignoring that. However, if it maintains this structure, 50 cents may be the lowest. So keep in mind 50 cents and 45 cents, and if there happens to be a wick, that may be down to 42 on like the larger time frames. So but what we're kind of seeing here, just with the candle formations anyway, we did get this indecision candle. I just call it indecision candle, kind of like a, not so much a doji, but kind of. And then of course, since that moment, price, it seems like it's getting rejected at this little zone. So if you notice, price broke through just on this smaller time frame. It broke through this little resistance level. It came to back test it, confirmation burp, traded off it, clearly got rejected at the next resistance level, and then it broke below that support, and now it seems to be its resistance again. So I feel price just needs to find its true support. Will it be this zone, or will it be back at this 50-cent zone? Yeah, so that's basically it. Let's just take a look at the moving averages. So again, just like Bitcoin, I do like how they're sloping up. These seem to be much more closer to XRP rather than Bitcoin though, so that's a good thing. So kind of telling me, again, confirmation, price may hover down to this level to find its full support of Saturn, Pluto and Mercury, but there is a possibility of it becoming wedged in between the two of them, so going a little lower than that 50 cents. That's a possibility if it can't hold Saturn, Pluto and Mercury. But for complete continuation, I still need to see Uranus, this berry colored line, underneath Venus and Neptune. That's when it's like all a go basically. But let's take a look at the other moving averages. SMAs. Okie dokie. So we are under the we were under the SMAs. All of them. So I'm feeling definitely this 50-cent zone is a possibility. We're just getting rejected here, and if we continue to get rejected, especially of course if Bitcoin is ready to go down, it will just push it down, as we are underneath every single one of them. The 200 is above both of them, so that's just signaling downward momentum. We'll take a look at the EMAs. They're kind of coiling up. Oh gosh, they're coiling up. Let's get rid of this one. Let's make it a bit clearer. They are coiling up, but again, it's underneath the 200. It's underneath it, and it's actually sitting right on top of all of them, but they're super coiled up. So, but we're underneath the 200, so that's just showing me, oh, potential downward momentum. Potential downward momentum, even if it's not that long. Like if you look over here, it was underneath the 200, price just went down, retested this line, this zone, before they moved and crossed over again, and we had this upward momentum. So could that be a thing? Could price just come down before they eventually cross over at some point going into April? And as I did say in my video, Leave the World Behind, signalled important dates with the full moons during Mercury retrograde. Our next Mercury retrograde is in April, along with our full moon. And of course, this apex leads into April. Let's see where the full moon is in April. Full moon's the 24th. And this apex is leading into this full moon energy. So could price literally, could it just be boring? That's what I'm seeing. Could it be boring? We could even get the possibility of, if Bitcoin goes down to the lower ends, because again, what I learned from my mentor, 55 50 to 55 days, give or take a little bit, but before the Bitcoin halving is usually the lowest point Bitcoin has, which leads into the end of February going into March. So basically, if Bitcoin's to go to its lowest point, whether that's 40, the higher end of the 40k, or the lower end of 30k, 31 to in between 31 to 34, could this pull XRP down to this zone? Could we trade underneath this, get back in it, and it's just trading, it's just being boring, and then it comes out when this full moon in April energy appears? That could be a possibility, because usually when it comes to these Bitcoin halvings, price just wicks low and people are just like, what's going on? Then it gets boring, and then people just leave or forget about it because it's boring and they're fed up. So that could be a possibility as well. I'm really keeping in mind these zones right now, but we are, especially if we're pushed underneath these, it could just push us lower, but again, it's nothing to worry about, because that would support us quite nicely on the luminary moving averages. Even if we go below this, we're still being supported on the luminary moving averages. So just a quick look at the Bollinger Bands. Again, look at this. Let's just close the moving averages. No, we'll keep the luminaries. So the Bollinger Bands, we were trading above it a little bit, and we got clearly rejected, had our change in market candle just happening there, and we're being supported on the middle one right now. But could that eventually, especially because of the SMAs, EMAs, could that push us down to retest the lower end of this Bollinger Band? And look where it sits, exactly on the 50 on this trend line, where price has wicked to a few times. Again, finding support of Saturn, Pluto and Mercury. So they're all possibilities, you know, they are all possibilities. There's a lot happening there. Right, so let's just take a look at the smaller time frames for XRP. Oh, should I put on a fib? Should we take a look at the fib? So where do I want to do it from? Let's just make it a bit smaller. Let's put on a fibby fib. Just this zone. We'll do the last swing low to the most recent swing high. Ooh. Okay. Okay. If I get rid of the drawings, does it get rid of the fibs as well? Yeah, it does. So basically, we traded up into the golden pocket. We were at this amazing buying level. We traded up into the golden pocket, and we could potentially be getting rejected off the golden pocket, coming back to test the 888, and again we could just go a little bit lower, retest that, gain support, and then get another amazing buying opportunity to buy. I feel it. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Let me draw it on a bigger time frame. Just to get a holistic view. Do let me know if any of this is helpful. Any and all feedback is appreciated. So I'm just doing it from this swing low to this swing high. Let's just get another perspective on this. Okay, so on like a bigger time frame, we're actually in the golden pocket, which is interesting. Super interesting. So ultimately, I feel when it comes to XRP anyway, where it is right now kind of makes no difference. Personally, just not much of a difference if you want to invest or not. I feel there may be last downward momentum going on, but ultimately it's just doing what it needs to do. I'm just seeing where these fibs sit at. Ooh. Ooh. So what price is that? Tapping back into like its all-time high destinations. Basically. So I'm going to keep an eye on this, the bullish fib, this, because I've done a swing high to swing low, so it's a bullish fib. So I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this fib as well, because I feel it reaching these levels, tapping into, passing the 0.5, which is here, and then testing this golden pocket. From this whole breakout, we could be seeing or getting ready to, not like straight away from this breakout, but the whole journey it's going to do from this breakout, we could be seeing our all-time highs getting to the end of 2024. That could be a possibility, potentially. So yeah, let's just take a look at just a smaller time frame. The 4 hour, just take a little look at what it's doing. RSI. Okay, so the RSI is sitting on the 50 right now. Will it use that as a support, or will it just drop below it? So that's something to obviously, we have to wait and see, but it is underneath all the luminary moving averages. So as well as the SMAs, etc., etc., on the smaller time frame, that could bring us down, just sloping us down. And of course, this is a little support here at 53, but if it cannot hold that, 50 is its next bet, to be honest. Yeah, we'll get a little trading cluster possibly at 53, then 51, and then 50 cents. And if it cannot hold 50, 45 is your next bet. 45, but that's pretty much what I am seeing there in terms of XRP. So let's take a look at the DXY anyway. And oh, my belly is hurting. I've not been feeling very well, you know. I feel it's been like, you know, these solar flares, solar flash, whatever is going on, and it's been mash up, man. Mash up. I've not been helping myself neither, so I just need to get better. This makes me laugh every time. So with the DXY anyway, we're still trading in between these moving averages. On the RSI, we're looking like we're sloping up a little. On the daily, we are. Let's take a look at the MACD. The MACD we have crossed and we've begun the red, so that's interesting. So possible downward momentum could be a thing. We could get rejected off of this moving average or continue up. Let's take a look on a bigger time frame. Okay. Interesting. So on the larger time frame, we have flipped for upward momentum on the MACD. And when it comes to the RSI, is there a possibility of finding support off the 50 whilst this moving average catches up? for continuation up. That is a possibility on the larger time frames. Yeah, let's just come back down to the daily. We'll take a look at the other moving averages. I done this green line as a potential zone to reach, and I'm still pretty much seeing that. Why? So that's why I'm going to keep it there, because let's zoom in. Because it seems like it's retesting this zone as support that it broke out from. So it was trading within this cluster, it broke out, it used it, found it as support, jumped up again, and it seems like we're sitting on it to just find it as support even more. So of course, though we wicked down, it wasn't really in the price volume, as you can see. So it's like we're just retesting this zone where price wicked to a little bit, but this zone as well as our support, and potentially maintaining that support could bring us up into these new zones. So that's definitely a possibility. But let's just go back to the candles. And just take a look at some of these moving averages. So I'm going to hide the luminaries for a moment. Okay, so the 200 is in the middle. It is in the middle of the 55, but it's underneath the 8, and price seems to be getting support off it, but it is underneath the 8. So that's interesting. Will they wait for it to catch up, or will price come back down to retest this zone a little more? Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Put on the ribbons. Oh, and it's getting wedged between it right now. It's getting wedged between it, but what I'm liking with this, what I'm seeing with this one is that the 200 EMA seems to be crossing to get at the bottom of it. So again, that could be something for price to find its support on, or to continue to find its support on, to continue upward momentum or sideways momentum before ranging, before going up. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing there. Don't need to put on the moon phases. Bollinger Band, just taking a look. Oh, okay, so because the bottom of this Bollinger Band is here, though we've kind of just been following the middle of it, we are close you. We're underneath the middle, so that's telling me we do have a potential of retesting this zone. Oh, we do have that potential. So what will crypto do? Will it just hover and range, or will this find its zone quite quickly, so then crypto finds it after, or so on? Interesting. Or will it just jump up and continue its support off the middle Bollinger Band? We just have to wait and see, people. We just have to wait and see. But my head is getting tired. I feel when I don't do the what's it calls, my head's gone blank. The GEMATRIA connections. When I do that, I feel that I talk forever. I went for like an hour and a half in my last video, and I still feel, even without doing it, I still feel I talk long. So please do let me know if this is of any value to you. I am seeing a correction. To be honest, because price just needs to solidify its support. How low that will be will of course depend on price action, but do let me know if you appreciate the detail, because mama's energy is getting low, and I'm really ready for the hologram to reflect the energy that I've put into all of this work. Please do support me if you'd like by grabbing one of these calendars. I do also offer birth chart readings, that is available. And of course, if you'd just like to support in any way but you're unable to do that, a simple like, comment, even a share on the video would just go a long way for me. So thank you very much for those who have stuck to the end of this video, and I'll catch you in the next Crypto Angles podcast. number 45. Yeah. But anyway, with that being said, Angel out. Bye.